Right. Thank you, Mark. Today marks 3 years since George Floyd was killed by Minneapolis police officers.
Floyd's recorded death led to a racial reckoning nationwide.
And lawmakers across the country vowed to address racial disparities in policing and beyond. The question is, has anything changed?
WRAL's investigative data journalist Ali Ingersoll explains researchers at Duke are tracking that information.
These are the scenes from the weeks following George Floyd's murder. Protests in downtown Raleigh while leaders and lawmakers around the country pledged to make changes. Yet 3 years later, few new laws have been enacted, according to a new analysis by Duke's Wilson Center for Science and Justice. They created a national database looking at legislation related to policing, and found that while the number of proposed bills relating to policing increased nearly tenfold between 2019 and 2020, that's the lighter pink line here, a smaller percentage of them have been enacted. You can see that by the dark red. This is especially true in our state.
North Carolina really hasn't passed much legislation on policing compared to many other states.
Since 2017, North Carolina lawmakers have proposed 64 bills relating to policing. Just 6 have been enacted, the center's database shows. 2 are budget related, so only 4 address reform.
There wasn't sort of significant progress of any sort to sort of feel good about, but there are also some of the things that we saw happen in other states that really raised more concern also didn't happen in North Carolina.
Angie Weiss-Gamel, the center's policy director, says the database shows how much or little progress was made following the promises made.
It's time to, keep feet to the fire.
It's hard to know if police use of force has changed in the state since George Floyd's death.
If there isn't data and transparency and records of what's happening, too many of us can live without actually believing that it is an everyday occurrence in some communities, which it is.
While law enforcement agencies can voluntarily report use of force information to the FBI, very few actually do, so there's a gap in the data. Only 37 out of 581, or just 6% of police departments in North Carolina, provided use of force data to the FBI last year. Our local departments like Durham, Raleigh, Fayetteville, and Chapel Hill were among those that did submit information. While those are pretty big police departments, the data excludes use of force stats from 67% of sworn officers in the state. For WRAL News, I'm Ali Ingersoll.
This morning, President Biden honored Floyd's memory by releasing a statement urging Congress to make a change. The statement saying in part, quote, "I urge Congress to enact meaningful police reform and send it to my desk. I will sign it. I will continue to do everything in my power to fight for police accountability in Congress, and I remain willing to work with Republicans and Democrats alike on genuine solutions."